Welcome. Woo. Hey. Thank you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you for coming to today's information session.
Just to make sure you are all in the right place, this is the dissertation about kids with lesbian and gay parents.
There were several people in our last presentation who thought that they were here to see The Confessions of a Red-Headed Coffee Shop Girl. That's in the Annex Theater.
No, sir, I will not get you a cappuccino.
But now that we've made sure that you're all here to learn about what it's like for kids to have LGBT parents, we can get started. Now, we've only got 60 minutes.
57 minutes, which is not a lot of time to do an introduction, a literature review, methodology, and conclusions.
We'll read through it verbatim, and we'll each take about 100 pages.
I'll be going first. Beyond the bedrooms of the nation, an interpretive phenomenological analysis of Canadian adolescents with lesbian, gay, or bisexual identified parents. Although LGBT parenting has increasingly attracted...
Oh my God! This is so boring! Shh. This needs something. Let's make it a musical dissertation!
Increasingly attracted research attention. Relatively little focus has been given to the personal identity development of adolescents raised in such families.
There is scant qualitative data that describes the phenomenon from the point of view of Canadian adolescents. This study aims to give voice to those with parents that identify as non-heterosexual.
In semi-structured interviews, participants were asked to explain how they made sense of being from an LGBT family. These are their narratives.
These are our narratives. So we've got 60 minutes, 55 minutes to tell your story and to bask in the glory.
In a musical that's all about me.
Me and my brother had a mother and dad. We had a typical suburban lifestyle. Something wasn't quite right, nothing that bad, but we all knew something had to change. When my parents split up, I could not figure out why, 'cause there was plenty of love between them. But my dad had decided not to live a lie, so they agreed to go their separate ways. I love them for choosing to live authentically and for believing that love would be big enough for me. It's from them I learned there's always common ground. When you look for it, it's there to be found.
Find the common ground, you'll come around to common ground. Find the common ground, you'll come around to common ground.
I'm a from the get-go child of two amazing mamas and an anonymous daddy. But when I was 9, we had some urban family drama, and we all knew something had to change. When my mama split up, I had a moment of fear. Their new partners, they caused me some panic. The mathematics of my situation became clear. I was the girl with 4 moms, that's kind of strange. I love them for choosing to live authentically and for believing their love would be big enough for me. It's 'cause of my mamas, I know there's common ground. When you look for it, it's there to be found. So we will find common ground. Give it time, common ground. There'd be less opposition if we took more time to listen. So take a stand on common ground. Stake a claim on common ground. There's so much to discover, to learn from each other, believing that we have common ground.
Find the common ground, you'll come around to common ground.
Me and my brother had a mother and dad. We had had a typical suburban lifestyle. Mom came out one day, but Dad, he wasn't mad, said he loved her and always would. When my mom found a wife, my dad, he walked her down the aisle and whispered, I couldn't be prouder. Then he turned to her, and then they both smiled, and at that moment, I finally understood that to love you have got to live authentically, and I saw that their love would be big enough for me. It's from them I learned there's always common ground. When you look for it, it's there to be found.
Well, the ending of your story is so different than mine, although it started out so much the same. But when my mom came out, Daddy drew a battle line. There was no turning back after that day. Eventually, Mom and my brother and me had to flee to escape the whole scene. He's still in our lives, well, at least to some degree, but my daddy has scared me away. It's my mother who's choosing to live authentically, and my mother whose love is big enough for me. It's from her I learned there's always common ground. If you look for it, it's there to be found.
So we will find common ground. Give it time, common ground. There be less opposition
if we took more time to listen.
So take a stand on common ground. Stake a claim on common ground. There's so much to discover, to learn from each other. Believing that we have common ground.
The common ground, you'll come around to common ground. So we will find common ground. Give it time, common ground. There'd be less opposition if we took more time to listen. So take a stand on common ground. Stake a claim on common ground.
There's so much to discover and to learn from each other. Believing we stand on
the common ground.
Did you catch all that?
Musical introductions can be a little confusing.
Maybe we should clarify.
We could just tell them what we said in our interviews.
Hello, I'm Victoria. To be clear, I always knew that my moms were lesbians. You know, like I can't think of a time where I was like, shit, my moms are gay. I was a from the get-go queer spawn. You know, like the spawn of queers. I gotta say that for my moms to think about having a kid like 18 years ago was definitely pretty brave. And they were ahead of the curve because they had me well before the so-called gay boom.
I was 11 when my mom told me, but I think she'd been trying to figure things out for a couple of years. And I remember my mom and dad having pretty serious fights about like gay issues and stuff, but at the time I didn't know why. Once my mom made a joke about our dog being gay, and my dad completely lost it.
My name is Owen, and when I was about 10, my mom and dad had a family meeting at our home in Newmarket and told us that they were going to split up. And I thought that was pretty typical because it happened to some of my friends' parents too, but my parents never fought, so I didn't really know why they were splitting up. But somehow it was never really the sad thing for me worrying that my parents weren't going to be together anymore. It just kind of seemed natural.
For me, childhood was life in downtown Toronto with my 2 lesbian moms and occasional mention of my anonymous sperm donor. All I know about him is that he was like Jewish.
Well, once my mom and dad got separated, I did notice that my dad was hanging out with this one guy a lot. This one guy that he'd bring over all the time who lived about 5 minutes away from us in Hamilton. And then there was one day in the kitchen when I was about 15 that I really noticed. They were like cooking beside each other. And they were just, you know, they were just being all cute. And I was like, well.
I only started realizing that my family situation was different when my mom told me, which was when I think I was 12, she said, I have a new friend. And I was completely clueless until about an hour later, and then I was like, oh.
Like, I mean, completely lost it. Dad threw his empty coffee mug across the room and yelled, Rufus is not gay.
Oh!
So my dad came downstairs to the basement where I was watching TV and says, "What's on TV, Christy?" And I'm like, "Hey, Dad, are you gay?"
And I think my mom's told me once that he was like a mathematician or like an economist or something.
And he's like, yes?
Unfortunately, my dad didn't see the humor in it. He dragged me outside onto the back deck and dangled me over a railing. What do you think is so funny, Ellie? And I knew this was about way more than Rufus, who BT Dubs has since come out of his doggy closet.
Okay, new friend. It's all making sense now. I never really had a problem with it. Like, I was never really against the idea of having a lesbian mom. Before she came out, she was probably worried that we'd find it all confusing. After she came out, I think she just felt relieved that she didn't have to keep it all bottled up from us anymore. I mean, after all those years, she realized that she could be who she wanted to be. And as an added bonus, it's kind of a relief for us kids, too.
And I'm like, oh, okay, because I kind of noticed that you and him kind of have a connection. All he said was, yes. I've been meaning to tell you for a while.
The first time any friends freaked out about it was just before grade 6, when I was at camp. And that's when I realized that people might, like, judge me because my moms were gay. For a while, I felt like I had to keep being a queer spawn like this secret, which wasn't easy, given that one of my moms is, like, a super butch.
If she was still boxed up, if she had stayed in the closet all this time, she wouldn't be as happy as she is now.
At first, I wondered if my dad being gay was going to change anything, but after living with it for a while, it was fine. It wasn't any different. Except that I'm pretty sure he felt lighter.
Later that day, Mom got one of her friends to drive me and my brother from Renfrew to Ottawa to a shelter for women and kids. On the way there, she tried to explain why we had to go, but I told her that I already knew because my friend, whose mom was on the same hockey team as my mom, told him that she thought my mom was a dyke.
I'm horrified to admit that for a while, I was ashamed of my moms. And in middle school, I thought that it might be easier if my mom was like a little less out there. But who was I to tell her how to act or how to dress? If my mom started getting like femmier just to blend in with other moms, that would have been ridiculous.
And my dad has been awesome about the whole thing. He was actually the best man at my mom's lesbian wedding.
I love being a gaby. And now that he knows that I know, my dad and I are closer because he lets me ask him questions. He knows that I'm just trying to understand, and he is completely honest with me.
At the shelter the next morning, one of the counselors asked me and my brother how we felt about everything. My brother was pretty upset, but I was okay with it. I don't care if my mom's gay, I said to the counselor. It's no big deal. I honestly was just really hungry, and I said I wanted to get some breakfast.
Anyway, when my moms decided to split up, I had this epiphany. Oh my God, if they both meet somebody, I'm gonna have like 4 moms. That's crazy.
A little Canadian history. Almost 50 years ago, Pierre Trudeau stated these now famous words.
There's no place for the state in the bedrooms of the nation.
He felt homosexuality should be decriminalized, but there were a lot of unfounded assumptions tossed about during the parliamentary debate. Réal Cahouette, leader of the predominantly Catholic Party in Quebec, gave Trudeau this stern warning.
If a mature man could marry another mature man, this would create problems for the government for the maintenance of the children who were born of these groups.
PC leader Robert Stanfield and NDP leader Tommy Douglas eventually voted to support Trudeau's amendments to the criminal code, but Tommy Douglas was quick to explain why.
Instead of treating homosexuality as a crime and driving it underground, we ought to recognize it for what it is. It's a mental illness. It's a psychiatric condition.
So, Christy, Victoria, Ellie, let me ask you something. Fast forward 50 years. What are some of the unfounded assumptions you've heard about queer-led homes today?
Well, kids need parents of both genders.
Gay parents will have gay kids.
Gay parents are more likely to abuse their kids than straight parents.
Gays and lesbians are only having kids to attack religion and advance their gay agenda.
homosexual parents are unable to provide emotional stability to their children because they're promiscuous.
Children in queer-led homes will grow up with no religious foundation, with no moral compass to guide them.
Well, there's no scientific evidence
To support LGBT parenting, right. No scientific evidence? None at all? There's a bunch of things been bothering me. They're myths about my family. So what if my dear mom is gay? It's a pretty damn awesome family. And for anyone who might want to debate, I'd like to set the record straight. Possibly not the best choice of words. The scientific literature is very, very clear. It really doesn't matter if your parents are queer. It's a lit review smackdown.
Especially suited for all the academics in the house.
Equally valuable to any skeptics in the crowd.
Plenty of fact and logic for everyone.
Where should we start? How about you, Herrick, 2006.
Okay.
Says nothing to show that a problem exists, and therefore it's strange that the rumors persist. The burden of proof needs to be upon they who dread almost all that is gay. If LGB parents weren't doing their jobs, their children would turn out as losers on slobs. But clearly this pattern has not been observed, and frankly they're kind of superb.
It's true, who knew? They're good parents too. Those gays and those lesbians know what to do. They seem to excel at whatever they try. So what's with the great hue and cry?
Patterson,
Russell,
Kaufman,
Kahn,
Bolingbrook,
Dylan,
Baker.
On.
Wainwright, Joseph, Garner, Kane.
If you're not convinced, let's look once again.
Gartrell and Post, 2010.
When put toe to toe against kids of all kinds, it appears that the youth with queer folks do just fine.
They're equally sociable, skillful, and smart. Most people can tell them apart.
But our longitudinal study explains that kids with queer parents have made a few gains.
They tend not to be troublemakers at school, and typically they are quite cruel.
It's true, who knew? They're good parents too. We don't understand all this hullabaloo. They seem to excel at whatever they try. So what's with the great hue and cry? Meason, Rauch, Riggs, Raboy, Worthington, Stacy, Short, Savoy, Williams, Spence, Gregory, Ray. We hope you're convinced, 'cause we don't have all day. Jenny et al., 1994. Jenny et al.
Not that long ago, there were those who assumed that kids with gay daddies and mommies were doomed.
But frankly, child welfare has nothing to do with who moms and dads like to screw.
There are those who have frequently tripped an alarm, claiming kids in queer homes will surely be harmed. But as it turns out, most molesters are straight. We realize that's also not great.
It's true, who knew? They're good parents too. That's hard to deny after this lit review. They seem to excel at whatever they try. So what's with the great hue and cry?
Roosevelt, Villars, Dundas, Green, Baumrein, Kaufman, Tasker, Dean, Fisher, Podved, Osmond, Gray,
Rudder, heard enough, yes,
okay. It's true, who knew? They're good parents too. Those gays and those lesbians know what to do. They seem to excel at whatever they try. So what's with the great hue and cry? Fitzgerald, Lev, Potter, Hall, Worthington, Saffron, Hellman, Kroll, Epstein, Riggs, McNeely, Stack. If you want more names, are listed at the back.
No scientific evidence, please.
I know, right? And even if there wasn't any evidence, it's pretty obvious to us children of the rainbow that
Children of the rainbow? You mean gabies?
Okay, it's pretty obvious
Can we
to us.
please use the word queer spawn?
Yeah, cool. It's pretty obvious to us queer spawn that
I
everything...
prefer youth with LGBT parents.
You see, this is problematic. There is no universal term that encompasses every child with LGBT parents. Queer spawn is a term that amuses some,
But is offensive to others.
Gabies is accepted by some.
But rejected by many.
Therefore, some youth with queer parents yearn for
Something in the LGBTQI2S string of letters and numbers that refers to us. Is there anything to eat?
Oh, and hello to you too.
Hey, Mom, seriously though, I'm starving.
Yeah, I just got back from the grocery store. The fridge is full. How was your day?
Meh.
Meh? Hey, Owen, hey, come here. How was school today? Here. What? Talk to me.
There's this grade 9 kid on my soccer team named Patrick, and all the older guys treat him like crap just because they think he's gay. Nobody actually knows if he is or not. It pisses me off. And then there's this girl, Jenny, who actually is gay. She just came out to her parents. We talked for about an hour today. They're gonna go make her see a counselor.
Oh, I can't imagine coming out in high school. That's
Yeah, you were pretty much ancient when you finally came out of the closet.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, thanks, Jane.
You were pretty lucky, though, I mean, compared to Jenny.
Yeah.
Dad was awesome when you came out. Everyone was, I guess.
Well, not everyone. My relationship with my brothers has been a little rocky.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when you were younger, I wanted to shield you from that whole mess.
Wait, is that why they didn't come to the wedding?
Yeah. Well, the official reason was it was too far to travel from Alberta, but the real reason was pretty clear.
You're sure?
Now, I wasn't at first, but about 2 months after the wedding, Zoe had to go to Calgary on business, and I wanted to go with her to, introduce her to the rest of the family. And so I called out to Calgary to Uncle Jake first, and he said, I don't think that'd be such a good idea. So I phoned Uncle Scott, and he came right out and said, I have no interest in meeting Zoe. You've chosen a gay lifestyle over your husband and your children, and I can't support that.
What the hell, Mom? Seriously? It's 2014, not the 18th century. What's their problem?
I don't know. I mean, it's partly their religious beliefs.
So what? You're still their sister. That didn't change. Still my mom. That didn't change. You've always put family first. Same with Jenny's parents. I just don't know why it's such a big deal.
Hey, Dad, you on Grindr?
No, I'm not on Grindr.
So, how was your hot date?
How do you always know?
Oh, please, you wore your favorite shirt this morning. Hashtag obvious.
Well, if you must know, it was good. He was a nice person.
A nice person. Lols, he wasn't hot enough, was he?
All right, enough about my date. How was school today?
I made the volleyball team.
Nice, good
And
job.
I found out that there's a girl on my team that has a gay dad, too.
Really?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Steph. And she's amazeballs, actually, like, so legit.
Translation, please.
She's just so honest and opinionated, in a good way. Actually, every gay bee that I've ever met just seems so real. Maybe that comes with having a gay parent.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, look at you. It wasn't easy for you to come out, especially to Nana and Papa, but you didn't want to live a lie. You wanted your relationship with them to be real, so you told them. You were totally like YOLO. I want to be strong and authentic like you too.
Hashtag, I've told you so many times already that you are.
Oh, Dad. You're trying so hard to be a hashtagger.
Too hard?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, for the record, I think you're pretty amazeballs too. I mean, you have no idea how scared I was and how relieved I was the day you asked me if I was gay.
What do you mean?
I didn't know how you'd take it. I didn't want to do anything that would drive you away.
Dad,
Well, I didn't want to make things weird for you at school.
Dad, having a family that's unique is awesome sauce. And as an added bonus, I get a dad that I can talk to about boys and my feelings and shopping, stuff like that. I've noticed that other dads can be so...
Straight?
Yes. So you know exactly what I mean.
Hashtag mind reader.
No.
You know, it doesn't matter what they say, Mom. I'm glad you came out while Shane and I were still kids.
I got to admit, there was times I was terrified it would mess you up. I wondered if maybe I should wait till you're a little bit older.
No way, you gotta be you. Besides, you're like the best wingman a teenage boy could ever ask for, giving me tips before my dates, helping me understand women, pointing out all the hot girls when we're out somewhere together.
Yes, all right, yes, that's the whole reason I came out, so I could be your wingman.
And I appreciate that.
Hey, anytime.
Seriously though, I'm way more into social justice issues than I would have been if you weren't, you know, well, you.
Yeah.
Way more into it than my friends. I don't have any homophobic friends. I can't even imagine putting up with friends that wouldn't accept gay people, but seeing how you've been treated at times makes me want to, I don't know, defend gay kids at school or whatever.
You defend gay kids at school?
Whatever, I guess.
How did I not know this, of course?
I don't know. Like today, when I saw someone call Patrick a fag, I stared the guy down and said, "What did you just say?" And he said, "None of your business." And I got totally up in his face and I said, "Yeah, well, I think it is. Grow up." He has no idea how that can mess a kid up. That could really hurt someone.
Like you.
No. Whatever.
Oh, and please tell me you didn't get into a fight today.
No, he just walked away. I'm not sure if I got my point across or if he was just scared because I was bigger than him.
Well, I had no idea you'd become an LGBT rights activist.
Mom, activist is a bit of a stretch.
All right. How about ally? How's that? Is that a better word? Oh, so I swear, sometimes I worry I've put too much on your shoulders. And yet, you have turned out all right in spite of me. You're carrying a burden you didn't ask for, and no kid needs that.
Mom, that's sure not how I see it. There may be times you've wanted to apologize, even though there's nothing to regret. Yeah, you have shown me how to bear my own and others' burdens. Your courage is not easy to forget. What makes you surprised that we are allies? The gifts that you have given I can't refuse. It's because of you. I know that justice is elusive, but seeking it is what we both must choose. It's because of you I'm strong today, inspired to know the world can truly change. It's because of you there's just no way to worry that the sun's gone when it rains. And I'm simply being honest, just like you have always been, when I say that you have changed my life for good. And because of you, I'm certain that I'm where I'm meant to be. Because of you, I'm becoming who I should.
There may be times you wanted to apologize, but there's something that you ought to know. Your bravery is amazing, and I'm glad I got to witness your authentic spirit as it grows. Sometimes I run towards you for protection, and at other times I want to protect you. It's because of you I know the world is sometimes daunting, but you have proven it's no match for you. It's because of you I'm strong today, inspired to know the world can truly change. It's because of you
but you should know that you give me strength too.
When I begin to wonder how to change the world, I'm glad that I can see myself in you.
There have been times I'd wanted to apologize for things within this world I can't control.
Sometimes it can be hostile, and it often disappoints us, and to stand alone can somehow take its toll.
But then you're there to show that it's not hopeless, and that tomorrow is another day.
It's because of you, there's every reason to believe that there's room for everyone to find their way. It's because of you, I'm strong today, inspired to know the world can truly change. It's because of you, there's just no way to worry that the sun's gone when it rains.
And I'm simply being honest, just like you have always been, when I say that you have changed my life for good.
And because of you, I'm certain that I'm where I'm meant to be. Because of you, I'm becoming who I should.
It's because of you I'm strong today, inspired to know the world can truly change. It's because of you there's just no way to worry that the sun's gone when it rains. And I'm simply being honest, just like you have always been, when I say that you have changed my life for good. And because of you I'm certain that I'm where I'm meant to be. Because of you.
Because of you.
Because of
For many children, school life can be a microcosm of our society. Hospitable at times, while at other times hostile.
In the classroom, kids with queer parents learn to make decisions about when to disclose, whom to trust, and whom to avoid. It's one thing to be cool with having gay parents when you're at home, but at school, that's another story.
Yes, being proud of our parents and unashamed that they're gay doesn't mean that we never have to make decisions about when and if to out our families.
When I was younger, I didn't know how to handle all the blank stares I got when I said I had a gay mom.
I know. People always ask me, 2 moms, how's that possible? Ever heard of a sperm donor?
Which one of your moms is the man in the relationship? Ever been to a Chinese restaurant and asked which one's the knife? It's a whole other set of utensils.
So, were you one of those really expensive IVF babies? Yes, I actually came out of the womb with a Gucci birthmark on my right ass cheek.
I've become really comfortable being out. Well, not like me out, but like mom out.
I'm still working on it.
You can't force it.
True. Even now, though, there's always a moment in a new friendship when I have to decide whether or not to out my moms.
I sometimes sort of find myself using a litmus test to see how open-minded people are before I tell them that I'm a gaby.
I do that too. I use words like my mother's partner, and then I just watch them closely. I didn't always do that, though. In preschool, I thought everybody had 2 moms. But in elementary school, that's when everything changed. Grade 3, Mrs. J. Today we will make something special. We'll all make our family tree. Here is my family's example. At the bottom of the tree, that's me. On the next level up, put your mom and your dad. Can I put 2 moms instead? Victoria, what did I just say? But I live with my 2 moms. Figure it out, use your brain, search your soul.
And no, that is not okay. Everyone here has a mom and a dad. Only one of your mommies is real.
I don't get it.
Well, for goodness sake, it's biology. Stop making such a huge ordeal. Just put your real mother's name over here and your father's name goes on the right.
But I don't have a dad.
Oh, she was born in a bottle, boys and girls. Oh, well, that must have been quite a sight. Oh, Victoria, you little kidder.
Wow,
I
she sounds like a
I
bitch.
know. Luckily for Mrs. J, I only had 2 moms back then, not 4, because they both marched straight into her classroom after school and had like a very intense parent-teacher conference. Mrs. J was all like, "Oh, I was just joking." The moms were not amused. But after that, I started lying if I thought lying would make my life easier. Like, what do your parents do for a living? Well, my mom's a nurse and my dad's a Jewish economist.
And then there's sex ed. I go to a Catholic high school, and my sex ed teacher, ironically a nun named Sister Margarita, never really has any answers when it's time for the question box.
Thank you for being so attentive during sexual education today. That video cassette was rather complicated, so it's time for some Q&A.
Yo,
Oh.
Sister Margarita.
Yes.
I got a question. If I got my girlfriend pregnant,
Oh, sweet Jesus.
or I mean, if someone got their girlfriend pregnant, it's okay to have an abortion, right?
That is a very tough question and a very rough thing to go through. Frankly, I simply can't imagine, so I guess I'll say a prayer for you. Any other questions? Inquiries?
Yeah, Sister Martini?
Yes.
I was born in a lab because my parents used IVF. So how come we don't talk about any conception like that in sex ed class?
You seem to me like a fine boy, or a girl, and I'm sure that God loves you very much. Any other questions or anecdotes about this and that or such and such? Yes.
Hi, Sister Mojito. I have an awesome cousin who's gay. Why do people keep telling him to pray the gay way?
That must have been hard for him to tell you, but you mustn't stop praying for him, because when it comes to heaven or hell, quite honestly, his prospects are dim. Any other questions? Queries? Prayer requests?
So you can see why I decided not to out my dad in Sister Margarita's class. To be fair, though, I've also had some amazing teachers.
Yeah, totally. I've got this one teacher, Mrs. Moon, who's a huge advocate for equality. She's straight, but she's definitely the go-to teacher for the gay kids at my school. Teachers have a big-ass impact.
So you're completely open with having a lesbian mom?
Yeah, totally. But since I'm so open, I get some pretty interesting reactions when I out my family. The best reaction is just nothing. Like, no big deal. Oh, your mom got married to a woman. Cool. But a lot of people try to make personal connections.
Owen, I heard your mom's a lesbo.
Yeah.
That's such a coincidence. My mother's brother's buddy is pansexual, so you and me should be best friends.
One of my neighbors is a big drag queen, and my other neighbor says that he's bi. So it's cool that your mom is a lesbian. You seem like a really sweet guy.
I feel as though I already know you.
You do?
For the simple reason that your mom is a queer.
Oh.
I've always loved the symbol of a rainbow.
Surprising.
And I go to Pride like every other year.
I've got a sister who kissed a girl once.
My brother's favorite color is pink.
Brokeback Mountain is my favorite film. We've got more in common than you might think.
I can see how that would be annoying at times, but I can also see how people would want to open up to you.
Well, it's definitely a role I'm getting used to, and there's a lot of gay kids at my school that want to be my friend.
Wow. I literally don't know any gay kids who are out at my school. Maybe if I was more open like you, I could help someone. But I want to protect my mom from small town gossip, so I've only told a couple of close friends, you know?
No, man, we all need honest connections. You can't stay boxed up. And friends that wouldn't accept you because of your mom aren't worth it.
I wish I heard that before I wasted a year of my life dating my loser ex-boyfriend. Quarterback of the football team, straight-A student, popular, hot, but really awful. I decided to tell him because we were dating and it just seemed like the right thing to do.
You've gotta be fucking kidding.
No, I'm serious.
That's gonna make things awkward for me.
Why?
My parents will have a million questions about you and your dyke mom, don't you see? Your mom and her girlfriend are doing what the hell? How do lesbos do it anyway?
Don't ask me that.
Pretty messed up, and my parents won't approve. Oh my god, I can't believe your mom is gay. I've got a couple more questions.
What?
Is your mom's girlfriend hot like your mom?
No.
Have you ever walked in when they were in the sack? For me, that'd be a huge turn on. So does this mean you're gay, even just a little bit? It's something that I probably should know. Let's fool around right now, and then I know for sure. If you won't, then I might as well just go.
So I assume you had the balls to break up with this loser.
See, that's the thing. I dated him for a year after that as well. Yeah. All my friends were constantly telling me how hot he was and how lucky I was to be with him, and I just put up with all of it. And when I finally decided to end things with him, he vandalized my locker at school and started a rumor on Facebook that I was lesbian.
Hashtag classic.
Men can be such jerks.
Yep.
Don't take it personally, Owen.
In addition to experience at school, LGBT families also contend with life that is set within a broader context.
The reality for Canadian youth is that their world is largely driven by a master narrative of heteronormativity.
Straight kids with LGBT parents have access to both queer and straight perspectives.
Which gives them some advantages, but also some pressures in the borderlands between two worlds.
When I was 12, nobody used to question why I ran around Pride in my tie-dye t-shirt, but lately I get this look like, why are you here?
When I see my dad hanging out with all of his gay friends, they're just so hilarious. It's like a club that I wish I could be a part of.
Is it crazy to say that in a way I feel like I'm gay too? Because of my mom? And not just now while I'm living at home, but like gay for life.
Please forgive her. That's a bit of an exaggeration.
No, I'm serious. Sometimes I even wish I was a lesbian like my mom.
Why?
Life at home with my mom and her girlfriend is peaceful. No aggressive father, creepy stepdad, homophobic boyfriend. It's just a really safe place. I get a little sad when I think about that part of my life ending one day.
But that's still a really bizarre thing to wish for.
I just meant that when it comes to guys, I'm a bit of a loser magnet.
Well, being queer won't make your life any easier.
And how do you know that?
I just do. Whatever.
Victoria?
Fuck. I'm not straight. Okay?
I did not see that coming. I was going to ask her out after the show.
What did your mom say when you told them?
Yeah, odds are one of the four was supportive, right?
I don't think I'm ready to tell anybody yet. I'm especially not ready to tell my moms. I feel like they're going to be so disappointed.
Why?
Well, what did your mom say when you told her about your homophobic boyfriend?
Yeah, I didn't tell her. I was ashamed. I didn't want her to blame herself. Why risk hurting her?
Exactly. And why should I risk hurting the reputations of queer families? Like, why should I just let myself be this statistic For all those idiots that think that gay parents equals gay kids.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
I'm not asking for a life that has no pressures. I know where diamonds come from and how oak trees get so strong. But I wouldn't mind a day without the world upon my shoulders. One day with no one waiting to see what I'll do wrong. I'm not asking for a chance to start all over. Each day the sun will rise and that's a brand new start for me. But I'd love to know what life is like without these expectations. One day to know what it'd be like if I could simply be free from fear, free from blame. No more armor, no more shame.
No one wants to have those harder conversations, but I know that staying silent only tends to hurt us more. Even so, who wouldn't mind a day when words weren't ever needed? One day where you could just hide away and simply close the door. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, especially when we've always thought we had so much to prove. But I know we cannot let our lives be paralyzed by silence, or one day we will realize we've allowed ourselves to lose. One day, no apologies. One day, no regret. Living like no one's watching. One day, one day. I'm not saying we should try to be imperfect, but when there is perfection, there's no story to be told.
So we need to look to those who will embrace our inner beauty, to those who want to know and love us as our lives unfold.
I'm not certain we won't make the same mistakes again, especially when we've always thought we had so much to prove. Our path could be much simpler if we traveled it together. One day to lean on others and to learn from those like you. One day,
from fear,
no apologies. One
free
day,
from
no
blame.
regret. Living like no one's watching. One day, one day,
from fear,
no apologies. One
free
day,
from
no
blame.
regret. Living like no one's watching. One day, living like no one's watching. One day, one day.
Everything will be fine, Victoria.
Yes, I know it will be fine. I just have to get up the courage to actually tell my moms.
Yeah, I think you should just sit all four of them down and say, listen, I'm straight. Straight up homosexual? Just kidding. I seriously think you and Ellie are onto something, though. I just don't think we should wait for it to happen.
What do you mean?
Like, why just sit around waiting for this day of no silence, no pressure, no shame? Why not make it happen? Like today. Well, whether we're gay or straight, we all know what it feels like to be an outsider in a straight world. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If we see something that needs to change, we're in a prime position to be that change.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we're like the middle slice on a Venn diagram. There's the straight world, the queer community, and us.
We walk walk out of one world right into the next and look for a way to connect them. We constantly try to show others respect and prove that we're willing to listen. It's a tightrope we walk, and to stay on the line requires a certain precision. But we know that's life when two worlds intertwine. It's kind of the price of admission. We have become ambassadors, even though we're right at home. We'll always be ambassadors. Now we know we're not alone. We have become ambassadors, something that we never planned. But we must be ambassadors, living in the borderland. Too often we stand on one riverbank and look for a way to cross over. We stand in confusion, drawing a blank. It's easy to lose our composure because we long to be upon both shores at once. But we just close our eyes and go forward. It's always surprising when we take the chance to experience life on the border. We have become ambassadors, even though we're right at home. We'll always be ambassadors. Now we know we're not alone. We have become ambassadors, something that we never planned. But we must be ambassadors, living in the borderland. I will not let shame decide the path that I will take.
And I will look for ways to show my love has no restriction.
And I will not be silenced into being someone's victim.
And I will always stand my ground for those who need protection.
We have become ambassadors, even though we're right at home. We'll always be ambassadors. Now we know we're not alone. We have become ambassadors, something that we never planned. But we must be ambassadors,
Living in the borderland.
find the common ground. You'll come around to common ground.
Living in the borderland.
Find the common ground. You'll come around to common ground.
In conclusion, because every dissertation has a conclusion.
In Canada and in many other parts of the world, laws that impact queer families are still evolving.
But despite the progress, heteronormativity endures.
When we listen to the voices of the people that live in the borderlands, we begin to know how to be a voice for change. So we will find common ground. Give it time, common ground. There'd be less opposition if we took more time to listen. So take a stand on common ground. Stake a claim on common ground. There's so much to discover, to learn from each other, believing that we have common ground. There's so much to discover and to learn from each other, believing we stand on
The common ground.
discover and to learn from each other.
Believe in me, stay.